So I would love to talk with Secular. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Hi.
Yeah. Hi, guys. How are you doing?
Doing good. What can we help you with tonight?
Good. So I have a few questions. Okay. So I understand there's a difference between sex and gender. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And my question is, can you kind of maybe explain to me what it means to be non-binary? Because I've looked up a few things and whatnot, and a long time ago I kind of watched this documentary about like the genders. It was particularly talking about Polynesian cultures and how they have a third gender.
Yes.
And so I kind of understand that, but I don't understand maybe what's happening in the world right now.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And I think certainly we have whole episodes on this. I would definitely suggest that you check the one out with Rudy B. We put out a couple of months ago. We can link that in the description as well. But the short answer is non-binary is an umbrella term for a lot of different identities. So while I can certainly let you know the basics and what being non-binary means to me, I certainly am not talking for everybody. You would have to ask the individual person in the same way that asking, well, what's a man, right? Like that's going to vary based on the individual that you ask. So for me, the basics are that sex relates to biology. And it is a biological thing that we can measure from various different ways. And that itself is bimodal, so not as binary as people would have you believe. But again, the American sex education is kind of crappy. Gender, on the other hand, is tied to sex in that one is layered on top of the other. In the same way you would say, oh, well, blondes are dumb, right? You would say, oh, blondes are not that bright. You're taking a biological characteristic, yes, that person has blonde hair, and then making a societal assumption about them based on that characteristic. And it might be correct, it might not be correct, it might be offensive. But you're basically doing that when you're talking about sex and gender. So gender is the societal construct of how people with certain biological characteristics are expected to act. And for me, being non-binary is kind of just breaking away from that expected structure. For me, there were two boxes, there was really only one box presented to me because of the characteristics I was born with. And I realized I didn't fit in that box. And then I looked over at the other box that was an option, right? And it's am I a man? Is that what I am? No, not that either. That doesn't work. So I must be something else. And then that's where the non-binary comes in. And that means that the way I view myself and my own, the way I present in the world and the way others see me, the way I dress, the way I talk, the inflections that I use, all of this kind of combines to create this like amalgam that is my gender. So does that answer your question? The basics, at least?
Okay. Yeah, kind of, but I then have a few add-on questions to that then.
Well, let's get to one more. We do have to wrap the show up, so pick the best one, and we'll try to tackle that.
Okay, all right. Maybe then I should call back late another time. But because like I kind of want to say like, is it more about forming? So I don't want to sound like I'm ignoring you. I just want to ask this question. Like, is it about forming your own identity? Because when you said like things like not having to conform to like society and stuff, like the person that came to mind was Eddie Izzard, and he does this one comedy sketch where he's like, "These aren't women's clothes; these are my clothes." You know, so is it more? I don't want to. Sorry, please just tell me. Is it about forming your own identity, and dealing with society like that? Yeah.
I am happy any day of the week to be compared in any way to Eddie Izzard, so I'm good. I think that personally, it is about finding my own identity outside of what society expects of me, because I tried that way and it didn't make me happy. It didn't make me feel like me. And so I'm trying something else. I'm trying something different. But there's also a broader context here, which is very much along those lines of, these aren't women's clothes, these are my clothes. We gender things a lot, at least in the English language, at least in Western cultures. We really tend to say, these are boys' things and these are girls' things, and they don't overlap and they're not, capable of being mixed and matched. And there's really no reason for that as far as I can tell. It is a very strange and archaic way of looking at the world, and it stymies the ability for people to be individuals and really explore fully who they are without having to worry about being made fun of or being bullied. So it is a personal identity thing for me, but it is also a broader worldview about how we should look at the world. If you love girly clothes and love to be very feminine and high femme, that is awesome. And you should continue to do that and pursue that if that's what makes you feel like you. But you can only speak about yourself, right? You can only say, this is what I like, not this is what you should like.
Okay. All right. Yeah, well, thank you for that. I mean, you said you need to wrap up. Maybe I'll call back next week and ask more.
Please do call back. I'd love to continue this conversation with y'all.
Okay. All right. Thank you, guys.
Awesome.
Take care.
Thank you.